Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Ed Gamble, Kerry Godliman and Glenn Moore, Milton Jones, Hugh Dennis and Rachel Paris. We start with a round called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what is happening. So what is going on here?
Is this when your dealer's around the corner and you just can't wait?
I think in that picture he is putting his left leg in, so I'm fairly sure he's doing the hokey cokey.
You're thinking, I've just got to get home before the condom disintegrates.
I don't think it's got anything to do with drugs. I think this is ventriloquist's dummy on run after escaping from suitcase.
I'd be running scared as well if I was being chased by an invisible cyclist.
It's part of a regular race that he runs with other people around the Monopoly board sites in London. And you get £200 if you pass Gove.
That is the face of a man who's waited in all day and then there's a sorry we missed you slip on the map.
I can run forever, me. I can run forever. I can run forever, me. I can run forever.
Has he got a sponsorship deal with Adidas where they pay him to not wear their clothes?
Is it Michael Gove misunderstanding when someone said there was a crack in the pavement?
Oh, beautiful.
And what the actual answer is?
This,
Yes.
I believe, Dara,
Yes.
is Michael Gove.
It is. Thank you very much. Cheers, Michael Gove. Yes, this is Environment Secretary and Conservative leadership candidate Michael Gove enjoying a jog. This week, his leadership campaign ran into difficulty after he admitted to taking cocaine on several occasions whilst working as a journalist in the 1990s. He went on to describe his actions as a mistake.
I find it inspiring.
OK.
I think if someone that stiff and posh-sounding who wears glasses can kick that coke habit, and so can I.
Not enough people are looking at it as an inspiring story. Really, not enough people are seeing the positive
No,
in it.
I can understand the disappointment because, I mean, he started that campaign of Clean for the Queen, and I thought he was clean for the Queen, but it turns out he was just polluted for the suited and booted, and I find that
I think it's quite clever what he's doing. He's basically making illegal drugs uncool one by one. Like, he said he doesn't done coke. Now, no one's ever going to do coke ever again.
Yeah.
If he said he stabbed someone in the 90s, we could end knife crime.
He had a great time in ISIS. He loved his time in ISIS so much. I'm coming back right now.
It made him the man he is. It made him the man he is, ISIS.
He might look unlikely, but I'm sure this is going to escalate. I reckon by the time this is broadcast, he will have been revealed as H. From Steps? Yeah, from Steps, yeah.
His flatmate was very shocked, wasn't he, when he found out about it? Because he was like, I don't know where he's fit it in because he had a busy lifestyle. When did he fit in a coke habit?
It wasn't.
But it's easy to fit in a bit of Charlie. I mean, it takes seconds, doesn't it? It's like putting your wedding photos in an album. You never get that. It takes ages. You've got to paint a wall or put up a shelf.
I don't know how he was given coke, because firstly, he's got to have been invited to a party, and secondly, someone has to have been cruel enough to give him a mirror.
He doesn't look like he's sniffed anything apart from his neighbour's knickers off the line.
But at the point where Michael Gove is worried that his political career will be ended by these revelations, our general tone is, you didn't. You didn't. Like, you didn't. You didn't. No one thinks you did. So, therefore, it was all for nothing.
It was quite a revelation to me that I have less experience with illegal substances than Michael Gove. I have never felt more white in my life. And I've been to a farmer's market to buy organic cider.
He's really worried, isn't he, about... Or at least people have said that he might not be allowed into America because he's done it.
Yep.
So if he sends a delegation to America, the rest of them fly direct to Washington and he's going to be in Tijuana trying to get over the wall.
And whilst he's there, he might pick up a bit of stuff.
Yeah, no. It's not going to work, is it?
I like that he said, to try and get out of it, he said, but it was 20 years ago. Like, he was 31. That 20 years ago thing, like, doesn't work as you get older and older. Like, imagine the Queen saying, it was 20 years ago. Like, Liz, you were 73.
Yes.
You've never been at that illegal rave.
I think the biggest drugs revelation from the Tory party is that Theresa May wasn't pilled up when she did that dance.
A lot of leaders have used drugs, and like Hitler, he sniffed marker pens.
Who else is as in this?
Andrea Leadsom, it was a headline.
It's a bizarre.
It's amazing. When Andrea Leadsom, there was a headline, and went, weed at university. You think, well, I hope she did. She was there for 3 years.
Jeremy Hunt, of course, admitted to having a cannabis lassie in India, which he's admitted to taking drugs, but he's sticking within the broad Tory remit of blaming foreigners.
Cannabis Lassie, or as he's better known, Scooby-Doo. Oh, yeah, that's great. I just came up with that. I'm really happy with that. The more you think about it, munchie, wah, 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 wah. The dog is definitely on cannabis.
Who took the opium? One of them
Opium,
took opium.
Rory Stewart took the opium. Yeah,
Okay.
but he didn't want to be impolite at a wedding. You know the way when the opium goes round at a wedding,
No,
one
you
doesn't
don't
want
want to
to,
stand out.
go, yeah.
There's no way he
is,
did opium. At the very best, he has the glassy stare of a glue sniffer at a betting shop.
And they're almost cliches. The first is, yes, it had no effect on me. Yes, I took it, but it had no effect on me.
Yeah.
They all go, none of these are... And you kind of wonder, how did the drugs catch on? Because they clearly don't seem to work. I mean, why have they become so popular, given that they seem to have no effect?
Like, you're just thinking, you're doing it wrong then. It's just yet another thing that you're inept at.
Yeah.
Boris Johnson was the best. He's admitted to nearly taking cocaine, but sneezing at the last second and blowing the cocaine everywhere. Even when he tries to be edgy, he somehow ends up as Mr. Bean. Where he goes, well, I nearly used a sex worker, but just at the last minute I slipped and my head got stuck in a turkey.
Who was Matt Hancock also admitted cannabis use this week.
It's like a massive AA meeting.
But the cannabis use can't have led to this design choice at his launch. I mean, this is ridiculous. Because I think it's a reaction to Theresa May. Theresa May found it so difficult to admit to any kind of misbehaviour that now they're all trying to crowdsource the correct amount of misbehaviour and go with no cocaine, no cocaine, go back. And Helen seems like the safe amount of misbehaviour to say 20 years.
Do you think someone's going to really overshoot it, like Dominic Raab's just going to go, I killed a boy!
At a podium, just finding a vein and going, can we finally have a mature... OK, in other news, what scandals have dogged Labour this week?
Well, there was a guy called Peter Wilsman, is that right?
Yeah.
Who was on the NEC and he's 76. And he was accused of sort of sexual harassment, of sending texts to a much younger woman saying things like, I'm in my pyjamas. Sexy. Fortunately, he was so old he didn't know how to send a photo. So only good.
I don't know the full I don't know the full tone of it, like whatever, but it does sound. I mean, there can't be any way in which this is an erotic thing to send to someone to go.
That's how you get out of sex. You go, oh, I've got my pyjamas on.
When you get over 70, that's what sexting is. Next it'll be, oh, I'm walking downstairs in my long nightshirt and funny hat. I'm holding a candle.
Holding a candle.
Does that make you randy?
Oh, I'm just pouring out my Horlicks.
I'm slowly ascending the stairs of my stand-up.
He didn't get...
I sent you a sound file of the engine of my stand-up. On to the top now.
I'm rubbing the vapor rub all over my chest.
I'm just filling up my hot water bottle.
What is a good Labour chat-up line in the first place? Do you say something like that? Is that a communist manifesto in your pocket, or do you just have a weird square dick?
OK, at the end of that round, the post of the Rachel Hewell Milton. Now we play a round called Blow, Blow, Blow Your Vote. This game Involves Glenn Moore and Milton Jones. If you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launched the Wheel of News, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is domestic life. Who wants to go? Glenn.
I've got two housemates, Sarah and Shalil. And it's not the Sarah and Shalil. I think a lot of people get excited when I say I lived with Sarah and Shalil. It's not the famous Sarah and Shalil you're probably thinking of. I think a lot of people think I'm talking about Sarah and Shalil from AQA's 2007 GCSE Maths exam question 3. No. You know, like Shalil had 5 apples and Sarah took away 3 of them. It's not them. It'd be mad if it was. No, I like my housemates, but the problem is they've got way better jobs than me, and they always complain about those better jobs. Like, my housemate, Sarah, she works at ITV, always complains about the fact she has to start work at 8 a.m. Like, I argued if she hated it so much, she should just change department, work at ITV+1, start at 9. My housemate Shalil, on the other hand, has got a way better job than me, and it really bothers me because he's a lot more stupid than me. To put this into context, up until last year, he thought that the Rice Krispies characters were called Snap, Crackle and Paul, so he's a dick. My housemates are always keeping me up late at night, always playing really loud music, always playing Dizzy Rascal, or to give him his real name, Elizabeth Rascal, and I can't But we're just different people. Like, they're into really energetic, high-octane activities, and I'm not. They like things like paintballing. I don't really enjoy paintballing. I've never really enjoyed the violence of paintballing. I prefer to sit in the trenches and write poetry about the horrors of paintballing. Whereas they make fun of me for literally every activity I ever do. They once ripped the piss out of me because I queued up overnight to buy the final Harry Potter book, because apparently it's been out for years. We got kicked out of our flat a few years ago, and it was a nightmare. I remember saying goodbye to my housemates for the final time. I said goodbye at a train station, then we all went our separate ways. Sarah departed Paddington on a train leaving at 65 miles an hour. Shalil departed one on... I thought it was just bad luck that I'd lived with people I didn't like. I'm an unlucky guy. I come from an unlucky family. Like my dad, for instance, unluckiest person I've ever met. Last year, he was travelling in an Uber for the first time, fell asleep for 1 minute, got given 1 star. That is bad luck. Uber said he was a bad driver, but that is bad luck.
Thank you very much, Graham. That leaves us with Milton. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is parenthood. Away you go, Milton.
I went back to my parents' house the other day, looked into my neighbour's garden where I used to steal apples as a toddler. They didn't mind me stealing apples. It was dressing up as a toddler they thought was weird. I come from a family of auctioneers. There's my mum, my dad, my Uncle Philip, Auntie Eileen, my dying grandfather, going. I said to my dad, I keep making mistakes. He said, you're talking to the wrong person. I said, oh, no, not again. He said, well, it wasn't as bad as that Uber driver I had the other day. He fell asleep. So Calvin Klein's mum has labelled everyone else's pants. When my daughter was born, she had jaundice, so there she was, small, round and yellow. We called her Melanie. Apparently, I didn't even turn up to one of my own children's christenings, according to one of them, who shall remain nameless.
Thank you very much, Milton. Very good. Get out the points go to Glenn Moore. Well done. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Rachel, which category would you like?
I'll take a gamble on sport, please.
All right, Gran, you're going to try sport. OK, the answer is about 1 million. What is the question?
Is it how many emails do I get from Groupon every single day?
Is it how many times a month does my exaggeration club meet?
Is it how many things have I got to do today?
I'll never fit that Coke in.
No,
Is it, since I was last on Mock the Week, how many tweets have I had about Love Island?
Have you slept with anyone yet? Have you slept with anyone on the island
Have I
yet?
slept with anyone on the
On the
island?
island yet? Yeah.
Yeah, why not? I'm just going to own it now. Yeah, I'm on Love Island and I commute to do Mock the Week.
Have you seen that Twitter account that's a mixture of you and the guy?
Yes, of course, I've seen Curtis Gamble 12.
So good.
Is it making you cross?
Is it making me cross? Oh, only in the sense that the moment I wake up every day until the moment I go to bed is just an onslaught of social media about me being on fucking Love Island.
It's got to have a niche.
It's not my niche!
Is it the prize money in the new game show Who Wants to Be Approximately a Millionaire?
Is it what ransom does, like, quite a relaxed kidnapper ask for?
It's whatever you can rustle up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not picky about this, you know, like just a couple of bags worth.
How many times has Diana Ross been phoned up by people trying to get Dinah Rod?
The notion that Diana Ross answers her own phone, Diana Ross. Yes, Diana Ross. Yeah, no, I don't do drains, thank you.
How many people would my Uber driver have to mow down before I gave him anything less than 5 stars?
Dara?
Yes?
How many times have I told you not to do that?
Is
I'm in my pyjamas.
Is it how many times we can look forward to everyone mispronouncing Jeremy Hunt's name over the next year?
Is it when I have an evening to myself, how many steps does my watch say I've done?
Is it how many decibels does the fox below my window orgasm at?
There's a real tone to it as well, isn't there?
It sounds like it's saying Ed.
I'm thinking of you on Love Island. What's getting me over the line here? Does anyone know the correct answer?
How many people have been buying tickets for the Women's World Cup?
Absolutely right. Thank you very much, Kerry Gondaman. Yes, the question I was looking for was how many tickets have been sold so far for the FIFA Women's World Cup? This is the news that the tournament kicked off during a busy time for sport that also includes the Football's Nations League and the Cricket World Cup as well. Now, have you been following any or all of this?
Yeah, I've been singing 3 lionesses on the shirt S's.
It's very early in the tournament, isn't it?
It's
We've only
extremely
played
early,
one
yeah.
game, haven't we, against Scotland. We've got 6.1 million viewers, which is great.
So they're the lionesses.
Yes.
Do they change the badge? Do they do it like Disney do and just put eyelashes on the lion?
I used to go out with a girl years ago who had a great big green top and big gloves, and I took her home to see my mum, and she whispered to me, "She's a keeper."
How has the women's manager, by the way, Phil Neville, been channeling Gareth Southgate?
Who's Phil Neville?
Phil Neville is the manager of the Lionesses. Yeah.
Okay.
Gareth Southgate is the manager of the men's team.
Is Phil Neville allowed in the dressing room for the half-time team talk? Or does he have to be sort of like, we're doing a really good job? Look me in the eye and tell me you can't do better. OK, right, we really need to improve.
That's
In
quite
fact,
right.
actually, are you going to talk about Lotusport?
Not-
Because I've got a note.
Oh, OK.
I don't think
Dear sir, please excuse Kerry from talking about PE. Unfortunately, she doesn't understand it. Thanks. Mrs. Kerry, bracket, Kerry's mum. May I? All right, Kerry, back to the hall.
I can't really imagine a Phil Neville motivational talk to any extent. He's got all the authority of me going, can we all move down inside the train carriage, please?
In what way, though, is he channeling...
Is he wearing a waistcoat?
This is a shot of mine. I even thought, oh, that's very similar, isn't it, to the waistcoat that famously Gareth Southgate was wearing during last year's World Cup. It is very similar. That's how... Wow. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
That's what it's like when you go bloke shopping.
Yeah.
It's all like that.
Kerry, Look around.
I look like the opposite of that. Like the polar inverse.
You look like a graphic designer on the way to a funeral.
I think it would be nice if we stopped focusing on what the men are wearing and actually maybe listened to them for a change.
They wouldn't be dressing like that if they didn't want us to look at them, all right? Just look at they know we're looking. They know we're looking.
I suppose you think a waistcoat is provocative.
Oh, you're saying it's a bit saucy. It goes in and out in the right places. Let's the arms out.
They are wearing that waistcoat for themselves.
Yeah, but where's that tie pointing?
Yeah. They know what they're doing. Saucy minxes. Oh, it feels good to objectify Phil Neville. In other news, what did someone find in their punnet of raspberries at a Sainsbury's in Basildon this week?
A lizard.
A lizard! A gecko! A tiny lizard was found. Look, there he is.
Oh, I love Gecko's hands.
They're great, aren't they? They're they're really...
Jazz hands.
He's going, I'm the lucky one, really. My brother's in the jam.
I feel like somewhere there's a mob boss telling his henchmen, you need to make the warnings less weird.
Sainsbury's really pushing their taste the difference rate.
I think the headline in the Daily Mail was illegal immigrant found stowed in potential British coolie.
Yeah, that scene in Titanic where Jack and Rose have sex in the car.
It's like a gecko stag do.
Oh, right, hang on. So the other geckos stuck him in and stuck him in.
Yeah, they're like, who's carrying the punnet?
Where are Gary's now? I mean, it does feel like that they should have. I mean, in that situation, would you ask for help or would you just go, magic, gecko?
The gecko must be about 30 or 40 quid.
You know, it's got to be...
Punnet of raspberries, £3 tops.
I mean, you're totally coming out the window.
You totally come out with a gecko.
Oh,
yeah.
And but you know if you alert the staff, they're going to take the gecko off
You're like,
you.
no, there isn't an unexpected item in the bagging area.
Literally, it is literally the situation for which that phrase was invented.
There's a gecko in the bagging.
Do you think he is one of the ingredients of a Black Forest gecko?
Tremendous.
Sometimes I surprise even myself.
Kerry, under her breath, just went, masterclass.
OK, again, get round the punch of the game, Kerry. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics, then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things for a sports commentator to say.
Wimbledon, day 3. Still not seen one fucking womble.
Pass, 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 another pass. Sorry, I'm on Tinder.
Welcome to coverage of the first ever Willy Wonka Olympics officiated by the umpire, the lumpire and the dumpity-dumpire.
Oh, and that's some excellent curling. I have never seen a dog take a shit like that before.
And that was 9.6 seconds. Sorry, darling. There is Hamilton. Hamilton is driving at 180 miles an hour. This is not the musical I expected.
Welcome to the Tour de France, presented by Francis Della Tour de France.
And now it is just Mo Farah against the clock, which doesn't seem fair. It doesn't even have legs. It is just a clock.
And he's gone down in the box. Fair enough, it is her birthday.
Well, after arriving at the wrong nation, England believe they have now arrived at the correct one. They think it's Moldova. It is now.
And welcome to our 5th day at the Oval today. Don't it go on?
And that's a clean entry, very little splashing and a lovely flick at the end. This really is the most impressive urine sample I've ever witnessed.
Well, you have to hand it to relay runners, don't you?
Oh, the parachute has failed to open at 300 metres, and you can't make mistakes like that at this level.
Oh, this is the campest Grand National I've ever seen. Oh, sorry, it's the dressage.
Has that crossed the line? She's calling HR, so I think it did.
Oh, and he scored! What a weekend Michael Gove is going to have.
The next topic is unlikely lines from a romantic novel.
I know I promised you fellatio for your birthday, she said, but they didn't have any, so I got some vermicelli.
Ever since our night of passion, I've burned for you, she said. Desire? He asked. No, cystitis, she said.
Turn the light off, she said. What about all the boats? Said the lighthouse keeper.
I'm not the most sexually minded man, George told her, and I know that the average man supposedly thinks about sex every dick sucking. 6 seconds.
Be mine. Had she heard right? No, he said. B minus. This essay is shit.
Anastasia Steele stood in front of Christian Grey, dressed as a mummy. Oh, I'm sorry, she said. I thought you said you were into bandage.
She'd never forget his first words to her. Cheer up, love, might never happen.
He gasped as her hair cascaded down. Well, it was February. Who waxes in winter?
Carry me upstairs, she said. I'd rather not, said the lighthouse keeper.
Simon sidled across the nightclub floor and used the one chat-up line he knew always worked. Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Lucifer!
He was literally perfect in every way, as far as she could tell from the dick pic.
He took off her top and did what makes all the girls go crazy. Honk, honk!
I wish I knew how to quit you, said Michael, honking another massive line of cocaine.
Our relationship is on the rocks. That's inevitable, said the lighthouse keeper.
She felt the stranger's hand slide round from behind and gently cup her breasts. She's a double 38G, Barbara! We're gonna need the mega cut!
I am with child, she said. Yeah, but you're not actually a child, so it's still full fare.
He stood before her almost naked and slowly reached down. No, she whispered. Leave your socks on.
Molly was stunned as she reached into the bucket of popcorn next to her and grasped a big handful of her boyfriend's penis. After all, she'd gone to the cinema alone.
At that moment, she knew, with butterflies in her stomach, that she was banned from the London Zoo Butterfly House.
At the end of that, the points go to Glenn Perrier. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Ed Gamble, Terry Godwin and Glenn Moore. Commiserations to Milton Jones, Hugh Dennis and Rachel Paris. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.
Well, what would Malcolm Tucker make of the news? Watch all 4 series of The Thick of It on BBC iPlayer now. And Ramesh reviews the big stories of the week, and he's not alone. The Ranker Nations, Sunday night at 9 here on BBC Two. And catch last weekend's episode at 11:15, straight after Newsnight, next.